sports world change this morning?
They have fired Robert Saleh.
Said he was blindsided, fired by the Jets.
We had to go in a different direction, and that's why I did that today.
If somebody wanted to arrest him for being awful, I would accept it.
Fired Coach Robert Saleh.
What are the Jets doing? The Jets drafted Zach Wilson. Oops. The Jets traded for Aaron Rodgers. Oops. The Jets traded for Hassan Reddick. Oops. The Jets fire Robert Saleh after the quarterback they drafted 3rd overall in 2018 beat them without throwing a touchdown pass? That'll fix everything. Nothing the Jets do works. And now Jets fans are being asked to trust you on this one? Woody Johnson? May I call you a hard penis? I think Jets fans agree Saleh needs to go, but nobody knows why you didn't rip this Band-Aid off in the offseason, when guys like Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel were still available. Oh wait, they still are. You slick son of a gun, Woody. Jets owner Woody Johnson has never fired a head coach mid-season, and I think he can keep that claim still.
If you could fire your coach, would you do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Caleb Presley, for asking the greatest question in sports history, because now we have undeniable proof of who is making the decisions in New York. The Jets have reached peak dysfunction, and maybe when you hit that point, firing your head coach after 5 games could actually work. I'll break it down today, what's going on with the Jets, and let's see if we can find out who their next head coach might actually be. Do a sub, and just know today's episode is sponsored by manscaped.com/goodsports and their brand new full-fledged face and neck shaver, the Chairman Pro. This bad boy is elite, as it features a 360-degree contouring head, like that girl from The Exorcist. Great reference for the month of Halloween, eh, guys? Eh? The Chairman Pro is not possessed by the devil, though. That is guaranteed. It does possess 2 skin-safe 4-foil blades. Shaving your neck sucks, so Manscaped designed a shaver to get you a super close shave, and a stubble trimmer for when you want to keep that rugged look. Both blade options are designed to reduce razor burn and irritation, and like a good offensive coordinator, the blades pivot and flex to adjust to the contours of your face and neck. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave that neck in the shower. So if you're looking to elevate your grooming routine, the Chairman Pro is the ultimate tool for the job. With its advanced features and Manscaped's trusted quality, you're going to love the way you look and feel. So just use my link below, manscaped.com/goodsports, for 20% off your order and free shipping. The New York Jets have fired head coach Robert Saleh after 56 games, leading the team, and after a 2-3 start to the 2024 season. They'll now play out the remaining 12 games of their schedule with interim head coach Aaron Rodgers. Jeff Ulbrich as their interim head coach. Let's see what Jets owner Woody Johnson had to say about the move to fire Robert Saleh. Oh yeah, that's a lot of words. I'm not going to read all of that. He did say, "We are not where we should be given our expectations, and I believe now is the best time for us to move in a different direction." Expectations? Like the expectation that Hassan Reddick would be playing football after, you traded for him? What's Woody's solution to get Reddick back on the field? Oh yeah, just drive to the facility and fucking play, Hassan. Just fucking play. It's that easy. To the Jets' credit, Will McDonald has 6 sacks on the season, but your quarterback pressure rate is, it's 5th best in the league. Why'd you even trade for Reddick? Good thing you've got a good defensive head coach to keep this thing going. Oh shit, that's right.
Fired Coach Robert Saleh.
Nothing makes sense for the Jets right now. All I know is Saleh isn't holding Aaron Rodgers back. Rodgers' age and health is. He's injured his knee and his ankle in back-to-back weeks. Now, during Robert Saleh's 4 seasons with the Jets, the team cycled through 6 different starting quarterbacks, with Zach Wilson getting by far the most snaps in his tenure.
Yeah, a lot of issues.
After drafting Wilson with the 2nd overall pick in 2021, they could never get any sort of consistency out of poor Zachy Wilson, and perhaps more damning, they couldn't get any consistency out of Joseph Flacco. Yes, comeback player of the year Joe Flacco, who somehow made it work with the Browns. The same Joe Flacco who threw for 359 and 3 TDs last week. That Joe. Now, it turns out that Trevor Siemian was indeed the only quarterback to post a winning record under Robert Saleh.
Custom-made parkas with Skittles dispensers. I think it's a gift that keeps on giving Skittles whenever you need them.
They obviously made the big swing with Rodgers, but his injury doomed the 2023 season just moments after it started. Is that Robert Saleh's fault? Maybe. That injury may have actually bought Saleh a mulligan, but that meant he had to hit the ground running in 2024, which obviously did not happen. Now, the Jets started with the same record, 2-3, and the same number of points, 93, as they did a year ago with Zach Wilson at the helm. Garrett Wilson is not broken out with Rodgers throwing him the football. Those two don't even look like they're running the same playbook right now. There's like no chemistry between those two. Speaking of chemistry, I do have a solution. Blame Saleh. The run game with Breece Hall has taken a step back. Blame Saleh. And their 2 wins have come against Tennessee and New England. 2 of the AFC's bottom feeders. Credit Rodgers. In those wins, Rodgers threw the ball 30 and 35 times. In their losses, 42 and 54 times. 42 passes in a torrential downpour, by the way. Blame Saleh, not the OC or the QB. You think the defensive head coach is telling his quarterback to fire 50-plus passes in a game? Yes. Blame Saleh. Saleh eventually compiled a record of just 20 and 36 as a head coach in New York, which is the worst winning percentage, 357, in franchise history for any coach who led the team for at least 40 games. That's worse than Todd Bowles and Bruce Coslett, the other Jets coaches who hit 40 games without posting that kind of record. This is the first time that Jets owner Woody Johnson has fired a head coach, as I mentioned, in his 25-year tenure with the team. Not even Adam Gase or Eric Mangini got the axe while the team was still playing games. Saleh also became the 3rd head coach to be fired after a loss in London. The last 2 times it happened, it was Dennis Allen in Oakland and Joe Philbin in Miami. And I only think that's relevant because Woody Johnson was the U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom, and perhaps that embarrassment was just too much for him to handle. It should be noted that while Adam Gase was able to leave the Jets building on his own accord, Robert Saleh was escorted to the exit by Jet security. And holy shit, have you seen the size of Robert Saleh? I know that security means more than one guy. A very weird decision, and probably even more damning that these details got out to the media so quickly. We can probably make the safe assumption that this was not an amicable parting of ways. Now, the Jets have an ancient quarterback on his last legs, and it's very clear that they are desperate to turn this season around and win now. So in a lot of ways, I see this as a power struggle where more control of the team lands in Aaron Rodgers' immunized hands, and I think there's a good chance they double down on that and pull off a trade for Davante Adams to really go all in. I'm not sure how moving up Jeff Ulbrich necessarily helps them win now any more effectively than Saleh. It actually makes Ulbrich's job to coach the defense a little more difficult. But they are less than a week out from a Monday night game with the Bills that will determine the top spot in the AFC East. So they're just one complete game away from actually leading their division, despite everything the turmoil in the building would suggest about this team. They might actually be considering Ulbrich for their full-time head coach after this season. If that's the case, if they, Aaron Rodgers,
I have a good relationship with Aaron,
believes in Ulbrich as the team leader, then come December, we may be talking about the Jets as the first team to nail their mid-season coaching firing. Sorry, Pierce. Jury's still out. Still out on this one. I think Ulbrich really has to just do three things, okay? One, keep the defense at par. That's the thing Robert Saleh did very well. Two, bring accountability into the locker room. The thing Aaron Rodgers hinted at in his press conference. Thirdly, ask the NFL officials to just go back to not flagging Sauce Gardner for holding every play so he can be good again. Now, maybe one of the most hilarious things would be seeing the Jets make a deep playoff run with an interim head coach. Now, the real oddity here is you don't see these firings happen when a team really is still able to control their playoff destiny. Sorry, Antonio, but you're no Rich Bisaccia. And while it's not ideal to lose, the Vikings are one of the two remaining undefeated teams. It's not like the Panthers stomped them in London. We control Rodgers all we want, but even he needs some time to get the offense humming. As for Robert Saleh, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to go back to San Francisco, where he was the defensive coordinator from 2017 to 2020, and returning to that same role if the 49ers part ways with current DC Nick Sorensen, who's calling plays for the 12th overall scoring defense this year. Either way, I don't think Saleh will have any trouble finding a DC job before the 2025 season, if that's, of course, what he wants to do. Oh, and if you like what you see, check these bad boys out at benchwarmershop.com. Who do the Jets bring in to replace Robert Saleh next season? Assuming Aaron Rodgers doesn't retire and assuming Ulbrich isn't a real candidate. I think Rodgers is going to have a say in things, so I want to get ahead of all the reporting and try to handicap that list myself. My personal wish, John Gruden.
Shred it, baby!
Shred it, baby, shred it. Sometimes, look, crazy and crazy works. Will Smith and Jada. Sometimes it doesn't, right? Ben and J-Lo. Speaking of getting back together, how about Mike McCarthy? Provided that he doesn't survive in Dallas, and I don't think he's going to. He and Rodgers won a Super Bowl together. Not even that long ago. Only 14 years ago. And I think they'd have a chance to rekindle some magic. What about Pete Carroll? Natural leader, still wants to coach, and he can go toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers on any conspiracy. Mike Vrabel would be the ultimate antithesis if Saleh's weakness is indeed accountability. Rodgers might need a head coach, though, to tell him no. And Vrabel would tell him no, while also giving him a titty twister. You'd be remiss to not also bring up a guy with a stellar playing career who's now working in the media. Pat McAfee. It's less of a reach than Jeff Saturday. Pat and Aaron catch up every week, so you know they're close. Of course, I think Pat could still keep the show and remain on College Game Day, even as the Jets head coach. He's got that kind of raw energy.
Fired! Fired! Fired!
And I'm sure it's fueled by nothing artificial. I think Bill Belichick would be interested in the job. He'd love to win a ring with Aaron Rodgers to spite Tom Brady. There's one big reason Bill won't do it.
I really enjoy making love to your ears.
Yeah, if Hackett must stay with Rodgers, that's a deal breaker for Bill. Also, Bill still hates the fucking Jets.
Jets, because of our connection with the Jets. Not the Jets lie.
We're not going in there.
The last thing Robert Saleh tried to do was fire Hackett. And look where he's at now. Rodgers saw they were about to put a hit out on his boy, and he straight up had the underboss whacked. No wonder Davante Adams wants to play with Rodgers still. Fear. What about a man like McCarthy, who's also down in Texas? That's right, Joe Rogan. Rogan would allow Rodgers to double up on his ayahuasca regimen and possibly feed enough DMT to the rest of the roster that they forget they're the Jets, and they haven't won anything since 2010. And finally, I know this one is a bit of a reach, but Ben Johnson, the Lions' fantastic offensive coordinator. I know it's a little out of the realm of possibility, but you can't argue with the results of his scheme down in Detroit. And any team would be lucky to have that sort of creativity in the building. Probably not the Jets, though. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here. What a busy frickin' Tuesday. We do football videos here all the time. I'll have power rankings up tomorrow, so don't forget to come back.